everyone, welcome back to the channel, Average Joe Watch Reviews, where we do more than just reviews. I'm Average Joe and welcome to the channel. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel and also click a like. That is definitely the most charitable way you can help out and support the channel. So, I'm assuming that you are indeed a watch enthusiast, and I'm assuming that you clicked on this video because you're a little bit interested on how to take care of your watch. Now, we all know that watches are typically not an investment, but more of a liability, and we don't need any help in regards to having a watch degrade on us. Watches will age, watches will break, and watches will wear out over time. But we don't need to help speed up the process by doing things that we really don't know that what we're doing is hurting the watch. So this video is to help you, the watch connoisseur, and I guarantee you there's a watch enthusiast out there that's going to learn something new today. I can promise you that. And if you have, please comment down below what you learned. And if you already knew everything, then, well, this was just a rehash. Number one thing you should never do with your watch, and that is when you're taking a bath, a shower, swimming, you should never, ever activate the crown. Meaning you should never pull the crown out. When the crown is pushed all the way in, that secures it for water resistance. I would not even wind your crown, even though I'm sure that's okay. I would not do anything with the crown except just look at your watch while you're in the water. I would not play with your crown at all. The crown is definitely a weak spot for water to come in. Once the crown is set, now it doesn't even have to be a screw down crown to be water resistant. Screw down crowns do not mean water resistance. Screw down crowns pretty much are an extra security for the crown not to get dislodged. So when you're setting your crown back in, it's pressing up against a gasket, and that is what's preventing water from coming in. So you never want to activate your crown during any water activity whatsoever. Anytime you're going to change the time of your watch or the date, make it a habit to push the crown back in, to screw it back on, whatever the case might be, at the moment. Because if you don't do that, you're going to ruin your watch. I guarantee you. That's the number one thing I think any watch repair shop is going to tell you, is that they get a lot of people that just simply forget to push the crown in. So it's not only necessarily playing with the crown during water activities, but it's also not pushing the crown back in or not securing it properly in order to prevent water from coming in. Number two sounds common sense, but there's a solution to this, and that would be dropping your watch. We've all dropped our watches, okay? That is inevitable. Typically, when you have a leather band watch like this and you're putting it on your wrist, somehow it slips off your wrist and drops. So my solution to you is to never, ever handle a watch over a hard surface. So when I put my watches on personally, I'm usually very close to a surface, or I do it over my bed. So this way, if the watch were to fall off the wrist during the putting on or taking off process, the watch can fall onto something soft, or it'll fall at a very close distance, like on a desk or a dresser, for instance. So I would highly, highly recommend doing that. Also, I would definitely keep the watch away from your children if it's one of those watches like this Tissot I have on today. But if you have a G-Shock, for instance, there's really virtually no worry. Even if you were to drop it, the watch will survive. So obviously it depends on what watch you own. But I know it sounds like common sense, but I've actually dropped a couple watches already, and want to have you avoid the stupid mistake that I made. So that is number two thing you should never do with your watch. Number three is something that I see a lot of YouTubers do, So this goes to my fellow YouTube content creators, because I see a lot of you guys changing the date at the wrong time on your watches. You should always, and my general rule is always set the watch at 6 o'clock. Because what happens is different watches have different engagement times. The date wheel engages before and after the date has been set. So have you ever noticed, for instance, there's resistance when changing the date? That's definitely not a good thing. It could do damage to the gear teeth and strip it. So you always, and my general rule is set the day, the time to 6 o'clock. This way you are guaranteed on any watch that you will not have the date wheel engaged. Some people say 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. To me, 6 o'clock is the perfect time on any watch. So if you set it to 6 o'clock, doesn't matter if it's AM or PM, you will not have any resistance from the date wheel. So there you go. Number 4 is using the wrong solutions on your watch. For instance, I own a high-end Breitling, and I actually stupidly removed the AR coating. Now, it wasn't necessarily the solution I was using. I was just rubbing the sapphire crystal too hard and was actually able to rub off the AR coating. So using something that's abrasive, using the wrong solution, can definitely cause irreparable damage to your watch. And in this case, I actually had to rub off all of the AR coating on the top of the sapphire crystal, a very expensive mistake. So this also applies to your watch straps. If you have a leather strap, for instance, you probably don't want to use a solution that could possibly rub off the coloring of your leather. So there's ways of cleaning these straps, and I'm actually going to link a really good video from my buddy David Schwartz. I'm going to link that down below in regards to how to properly clean your leather or your straps of different materials. So he definitely did a good job with that, so I'm going to recommend that down below. All right, so lastly, this one applies to older watches, because in this day and age, overwinding a watch is not commonplace. If you do feel tension on that crown, you definitely want to stop winding it, okay? You don't want to fight through it. So for instance, this Tissot that I've used in examples today, you can wind this thing all day and you cannot overwind this movement. The newer watches of today have the mechanism that allow you to do so. So that is number 5. So there's 5 things you should never do with your watch. There's 5 more, there's 10 more, there's many other reasons or other ways that you can damage your watch, but there are the first 5 that I can come up with. Give me some other ideas down below, and maybe I'll produce a future video on the next 5 things you should never do with a watch. But in the meantime, always remember that there's always time to be kind to one another. Please take care of each other, and I'll see you guys next time on Average Joe Watch Reviews. God bless, my friends.